All right. What's up, Steelers fans? Welcome back, guys. Always appreciate you guys tuning in. Just getting everything set up here real quick, and we'll get it cracking, man, here in just a moment. I just want to make sure we get a few people in here, and then y'all know how we're going to do it. We're going to get it started, man, so give me just a moment, make sure everything is computing the way I want it. You know, I see that the shade keeps going in and out, so I apologize for that. I don't know what's going on here with the camera and my lighting or what have you, but bear with me, guys. We're going to get it cracking here in just a moment, and I look forward to talking to you guys, man, once again. All right, let's get it going here. All right, we got a few of you guys in here, man, so let's go ahead and get it started. Wow, I got I got a dislike already. I guess you guys don't like my ugly mug on the screen, so it is what it is. So, all right, man, let's go ahead and get it cracking, man. I see we got 13 people already in here, so you guys know I like to wait until we have double digits before we get started. And like I said, man, looking at the lighting and such, you're going to see me lighten up and get dark and whatever. I apologize for that, but whatever, man. Let's go ahead and get it cracking. So, first and foremost, guys, we have to talk about one big elephant in the room. So we're going to definitely address that. But before we get started, man, let me wish everyone a Merry Christmas. I hope you guys had a great Christmas. I enjoyed my Christmas. You know, it was great. I had my boy Tony here, as you see him already in the chat. Got to give him a shout out. But I had a great Christmas, man, you know, with my son and family. But then again, yesterday I was able to watch the game, you know, with family. You know, my man Tony was there with me. We watched the game together. His boys, Nathan and Derek, and then also my father-in-law, Leonard. You know, so I had a great time watching the game with fellow Steelers fans, and with them all being family, just made it that more special. And we got a great performance from our team, man, so I'm really appreciative of that. You know, I made a joke earlier saying all I wanted for Christmas was a win, and we got it. So hope everyone else had a happy, Merry Christmas, and I hope you guys have a Happy New Year. So let's get into it, shall we? Let's talk about the elephant in the room, and I'm going to go to my phone here, man, because I got a ton of notes. Guys, first and foremost, let's talk about James Harrison. Now, I like to start the show with Tomlin points, you know, things that I heard in the press conference. This is one of them. So I'm going to talk about a little bit of what Tomlin said in regards to Harrison. He said that he will keep the conversation between him and Harrison to himself. And it made me think a little bit. Now, I want you guys to follow where I'm going. Maybe part of this was Harrison's decision. It never really dawned on me that maybe James Harrison, you know, decided that he didn't want to be with the Steelers anymore because he had voiced, remember, a little while ago, a week or so ago, he already voiced his opinion by saying, hey, if I knew I wasn't going to get any playing time, I wouldn't have re-signed. So hearing Tomlin say that, it made me think, okay, maybe it might be part James Harrison. You never know. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room. This guy goes to the Patriots. He signs with the New England Patriots. Now, let me explain to you why I don't like this. It's not because I fear James Harrison. Listen, the man is 39 years old. You know, maybe. He's past his prime. That's why James Harrison wasn't the starter. For the last 2 years, as Pittsburgh Steelers fans, what have we talked about? James Harrison was supposed to be a rotational guy, bringing him in, you know, doing special situations and such. That's all we talked about. Jarvis Jones was supposed to be the guy that kept James Harrison on the bench. A couple years ago, you remember Joy Porter publicly said, look, you know, he's not going to start. We're going to limit his snaps to X amount each year. And then, come to find out, Jarvis Jones doesn't get the job done. James Harrison has to become the starter, and that's not what we wanted for the last couple years, right? So from that standpoint, I'm not upset that James Harrison didn't get more playing time. I'm actually more encouraged that a guy like T.J. Watt is commanding playing time. And even a guy like Anthony Chickillo, younger, you know, not as good as you wouldn't say he's as good as T.J. Watt. You might not even say he's as good as James Harrison, but he has upside. I'm not upset at that. You know, why James Harrison didn't play outside of that, none of us will ever know. We don't know what's going on internally, but obviously I feel like with him only having 40 snaps on the season so far, it's a reason for it, all right? But I don't fear James Harrison, you know, with him going to another team. It is what it is. But here's the thing I don't like about him going to the Patriots. This is a clear attempt to just get a ring. And listen, I'm not going to fault an athlete for doing that. It's not my place to fault him. But I'm kind of like New England, though, with all the buildup with the Steelers versus the Patriots, and the Patriots have owned the Steelers and blah, 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 et cetera, et cetera. This controversial win that the Patriots get over the Steelers last week, right? And James Harrison's going to go to that guy, to that team? That's where you go? Is that not Kevin Durant? Is this not the football version of Kevin Durant? And again, I like Kevin Durant. I ain't got no issues with the man. I just didn't like him going to the Golden State Warriors after having those guys down 3-1 and then allowing them to come back and beat them that year. You go to the team that's 73-9, the best team. And it kind of taints, you know, what Kevin Durant did. And I look at this situation, and it's almost like that with James Harrison. At this point of your career, you're going to go to the Patriots. So you're basically saying, I'm going to just go to, you know, the for sure shot, the quote-unquote enemy, if you will. Because the New England Patriots is not really a rivalry, you know, with the Patriots like it is with the Ravens, obviously. But come on. You go to the Patriots now, we already know what that's about. It is what it is. Do your thing. But I don't know. To me, that's a little crazy. And he could be upset with the team, you know, the organization, whatever the case may be. Again, I'm not judging him. I'm just giving my observation. I think that's crazy that you go to the Patriots. So I feel a little weird about that, man. But at the end of the day, I'm not afraid of James Harrison as far as what he's going to do on the field. I'm not that concerned. It does make for a great storyline. If we meet them in the AFC Championship, hey, it makes for a great storyline. Like I said, we'll see James Harrison on the field. And it is what it is. So that's all I really got to say about that, man. It pisses me off. But listen, he wasn't playing for us. And we'll see how much playing time he gets over there. And I know New England is a little decimated. You know, they're having some issues. Maybe he's going to be a situational pass rusher or what have you. We'll see. But again, at the end of the day, the Steelers are not going to win or lose the Super Bowl because James Harrison is not on their team. Just my thoughts. All right. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit more about Tomlin. Then we'll get into some things about the game. Then we'll be out of here. So Tomlin also says that Haden was instructed to follow DeAndre Hopkins. And let me tell you guys why I like this. First and foremost, this is something that the Steelers don't traditionally do. All season, and mainly our philosophy has been, you play your side. That's how we've been playing. Now that they're telling Joe Haden to go follow the best receiver. Now, let me tell you some things that you guys might not get from that. That's an indictment on Artie Burns. What does that say about Artie Burns? We already heard that Cam Sutton got some first-team reps during the week. Now, some people can say maybe that's because of injury and things like that. You didn't, necessarily know what Cody Sensabaugh, where he was going to be, and none of us would probably sit here and say that Cody Sensabaugh gives you the best chance. But then also Haden coming back off an injury, you don't know where he's going to be, with his stamina and things like that. But that's kind of damning, man, to Artie Burns, that you out of the blue decide we're going to let you follow Hopkins. Now, keep in mind, they didn't get this news during the week. The report is it came out on Saturday. It was a decision on Saturday that we're going to have you follow Hopkins after doing their team, their walkthrough before going down to Houston. Very, very interesting. Now, let's talk about Joe Haden. You got that much confidence in this guy after coming back from injury. And that, again, that's another thing that's kind of a slight on Artie Burns. You're going to ask Joe Haden, who's coming back off an injury, to take on that role. If I'm Artie Burns or just looking at it from the outside as a fan, I'm like, wow, that's interesting. But Joe Haden did a great job, did he not? Played very well. Had a couple pass breakups, and even there was some plays, he was right there stride for the most part, with DeAndre Hopkins making it a tough catch. Even the touchdown, I mean, listen, DeAndre Hopkins did the old veteran move, well, just blatant move, I guess you would say, pulled down, Joe Haden's jersey, and he rises up, flips, tips the ball to himself, and makes the catch. It was a phenomenal catch. I'm not taking anything away from DeAndre Hopkins, but it was definitely offensive pass interference. But outside of that, Joe Haden did a great job. Joe Haden was showing up. That looked like the type of guy that we all were, giving all the props to early in the year. This looks like the type of guy that we all were excited about. I'm talking all crazy. Excited about, let me slow down, when we first signed this guy. That's the guy that we want to show up. That's the guy that we feel like gives us a great chance in the playoffs. And clearly you saw the difference with Joe Haden on the field. The defense was phenomenal in terms of the pass game. Now let's get to the next part of it. Y'all know I can never just, walk around and just be proud about everything. No, I got to analyze this full situation. That run defense. What is going on with the run defense? And that's why I put it in the title, man, where I said big concern. Big concern going into the playoffs. What is going on with the run defense? Now, like I was explaining to the guys I watched the game with, again, Tony, Nathan, Derek, my father-in-law, Leonard, I was like, listen, man, things have changed without Ryan Shazier. I think we all can say that. But we were giving up some runs when Ryan Shazier was there. The only difference is Ryan Shazier makes a lot of plays, and his speed limits a lot of situations. But there are times where he overruns plays the wrong gap, et cetera, et cetera. But in that scenario, I would much rather him be on the field, and we've seen a huge difference. That's very concerning to me, man, going into the playoffs. Because look at the teams that we could face. If we face the Chiefs, Chiefs look like they're back to what they usually are. I know we've owned them, but they can run the football, okay? Jacksonville Jaguars, I don't think the Jags beat us the second time, but they can run the football. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm a little worried. I'm a little worried at the fact that we don't seem to be disciplined against the run. There were plays, man, where they showed with Sean Davis, Sean Spence, and I can't remember who else. Might have been Vince Williams. We're all in the same gap. What's going on with that? The communication and the execution is just not the same without Shazier. So they're going to have to find a way to tighten that up. Because honestly, man, that's really the only beef I got with the game. If we're going to be fair, that's really the only criticism I got about, Monday's game is the fact that the run defense is giving up too much. And it just so happens that the Texans passing game, we shut down, with backup quarterback, and then the third string guy comes in there, so I don't know if that was really us balling or was it the fact that it was those quarterbacks. I got to give us some credit as well, but at the end of the day, as great as we did against the pass, I don't like that running game being like that. It's the playoffs that we're coming up close to, January football, cold, it looks like we're going to be outside a lot, even if it's at home in Heinz Field. We can't allow teams to be able to run the ball, man. So just wanted to throw that in. That was actually a point I was going to make a little later, but it goes kind of with what I was saying about, Tomlin mentioning the things that Joe Haden did. So it just, took me to that direction about what I didn't like about the defense. What else did Tomlin say? Last thing here that I got about Tomlin, he says that he's not sure whether or not he's going to rest the starters against the Browns. Now, here's how I look at it. I can see it both ways. I listened to a lot of things today. I listen to Steelers Network Radio. I listen to Dave and Dave. I listen to a lot of things, man, because I just live, eat, sleep, and breathe Steelers. It's always Steelers all day, every year for me. You know what I mean? So I like to hear what other people are saying, other beat writers, and develop my own opinions. I heard what Tomlin said. I can see it both ways, man. I think that you play to win the game, man. If I can quote Herm Edwards. At the same time, I can understand people saying sit guys down because you don't want guys to get injured, but you gotta look at this from this standpoint. What if New England loses the game? Which they may not, but what if they do? They had a very close game against the Jets earlier, and they got robbed. The Jets did when they took that touchdown away from Severian Jenkins. What if they somehow beat the Patriots and the Steelers were to win with a #1 seed and home field comes through Heinz Field. You know what I mean? Also, you never know when injury is going to happen. You can't live in your fears and you can't play scared. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, just because you rest a guy doesn't mean that he won't get injured in the playoff game. So I kind of feel like you can't live in your fears. You want to keep your guys, keep that momentum going, if you will. You understand what I'm saying? We're already going to get a bye. And that's where it gets tricky for me, because it'll be different if we were playing, you know, we made it into the wild card round and we're already in. So let's say we didn't win. Let's say we're not the second seed and, you know, we clinched the division and we know we're going to get a playoff game in the first week. Then maybe you rest your guys in the last week, you know, because it's only 1 week. They got to play the following week. They're not going to be gone that long. But if you rest them this week, okay, then we get the bye. Then we're talking about the 3rd week before they play football again. It might knock you out of rhythm a little more than you would want. So I can see it on both ends, man. You know, and I'm sure you guys will explain or give your thoughts on, you know, what you think would be the best route or the best way to go in that scenario. But I can see it from both sides. I can see it from doing it, you know, resting them, and I can also agree with not resting them. If I had to choose, I think I send my guys out there and we play. And then, you know, maybe if we want to do a little bit of scoreboard watching, if we take a peek and we see that New England is blowing out the Jets, then maybe we pull them in the second half. But I think you start off the game, you play to win. You know, whether it's the Cleveland Browns or not, you go out there and play, keep guys in rhythm, and there you have it. So we'll see. All right, so let's talk about some other stuff here, guys. So we're going to talk about some interesting things that I noticed, interesting points on offense and defense. Then after that, I'll give you a few, you know, drives that caught my eye, and then I'll go, you know, here to the chat and see what you guys have to say, and then we'll be out of here. So here's some interesting things, man. Did you notice that Stephen Ridley was the #2 running back? Interesting. What does that say for a guy like Fitzgerald Toussaint? That's very interesting, right? Also, Justin Hunter gets his first touchdown. Now, the reason why I want to bring that out as an interesting point, he hasn't been much of a factor this year, but now, you know, if we're starting to get more guys involved, I mean, he ran a great route, made a great catch, Ben throws it low. But if we're starting to get more guys involved like that, and now it gives teams that have to play us something else to think about. You understand what I'm saying? Because you get Justin Hunter, you know, get him out there and get him effective now, and when he comes in the game, you're like, okay, what are they going to do with this guy? Vance McDonald. You know, we're seeing each time when Vance McDonald is on the field what he can be and what he can do. We get Vance McDonald going early. Love it. You know what I'm saying? So the more people we're getting involved and making plays and scoring touchdowns, that's going to give opposing defenses and defensive coordinators, I mean, a ton to think about. You know, even like the little play that we threw to Eli Rogers against the Patriots, you know, the little like kind of fake roll out and Ben did the RPO and kind of threw it to Eli. Like those type of things, when you're starting to see all of this stuff on film, you don't know who's going to be the guy. You know, so it's always great to see guys like that get an opportunity, you know, so thought that was key. Here's another thing, and I think we all know this by now. Juju Smith-Schuster's a stud. I love this kid, man. This guy, he plays with such innocence, and what I mean by that is he's just a kid having fun. But even in the midst of him having fun, this guy is phenomenal. You know, he makes plays. It seems like Juju is making plays every single time he's on the field. Love it. He is going to be a special receiver for the Pittsburgh Steelers. You know, as long as he stays healthy and such, you know, that's always a caveat. But guys, my main concern with Juju, you know, before the game started, I was telling Tony and the fellas, I was saying, hey, you know, you think he gets off? Because he normally does his best work when Martavis is on the outside and, you know, Antonio's on the outside. So obviously, you know, you can't account for everybody. But he showed up again with no Antonio Brown. So obviously Juju and Martavis were, you know, the main guys that they're trying to pay attention to, and he still did his thing. So very, very special, man. I really love what this kid brings to the table. Here's another interesting fact. Did y'all know this? The Steelers are now second in the NFL in third down conversions. They said that we're actually 63% in the last 3 games. Isn't that amazing? Because remember, guys, what I talked about the most during these Terrible Towel Tuesdays was how much I just couldn't wrap it around my head why we were so bad on third down conversion. Y'all remember we had a game or two when we was like 2 for 11 or something crazy like that. And now we've turned it around, and this offense is being the offense that we all would have imagined we would see throughout the year. I mean, you know, it can't be perfect, and I got to pick with my father-in-law here, Leonard. I know you're going to see this. All of us sitting there watching the game, and he's telling us, this is when it was 20-0. He's telling me that, oh, I'm just not pleased with the offense. And I'm like, it's 20-0, man. It's like, it's not going to, you know, every play is not going to work all the time. And then we go on and explode, and we end up with 34 points. And I kept saying, you unhappy with the offense still? You know what I'm saying? So I know as fans, guys, we get emotional and we want everything to work and et cetera, but this offense has been playing phenomenal for the last several weeks. You know, and that's something that we were not saying early on. We were saying the defense was the reason why we were in the game. And now Ben Roethlisberger is playing great football. You know, even when I got to quote Tony here, you know, he's looking for the check down. You know, because Tony used to always, and I agree with him 100%, he used to get ticked off with Ben. It'll be a 3rd and 1, 3rd and 3 or whatever, and Ben always went deep, looked for the big shot, instead of just taking what you had. You know, sometimes you just got to take what you got. And Ben didn't always do that. So I'm noticing that he's scanning the field, going to the dump off when it's there, and we're moving the ball and the offense is clicking. They're playing phenomenal right now. Offensive line is playing phenomenal. Got to give some honorable mentions again to guys like Hubbard. You know, even though I know Gilbert was back, but Hubbard was coming in and being the extra tight end. You got to give a guy like B.J. Finney. You know, the protection was outstanding. They did a great job, man. So offense is clicking. And what else did I have here, guys? Not a real fan of the wide receiver screens that we run and at the times that we run them. So I'm not really a real fan of that. You know, I'd like to see them do something a little different there, or get a little more creative with the screens. But I think those quick smoke and bubble screens are a little too, I don't know, a little too predictable. I mean, I know even Martavis got a few yards on one of them. You know, I'm just not a fan in how we run those. All right, so what else do we have here, guys? And I got to hurry up, guys. I noticed I don't have my computer plugged in. I'm at 33%, guys. So when it gets real low and the battery is starting to die, I'm going to speed through it. Let's see. Defensively, I already talked about the run game. That's a big complaint. I talked about Joe Haden making a difference. And what else did I have? Cam Hayward. Cam Hayward gets a few more sacks, and this dude has 12 sacks on the year. When is it, guys? I can't remember myself the last time that a DN for the Steelers. Think about what I'm saying now. A traditional Steelers DN has double-digit sacks. It usually comes from our outside linebackers in the nickel when those guys are up on the line. Cam Hayward has 12 sacks on the season. That's incredible. He's playing like a stud. Let's see. All right, so let's go into some of these drives, guys, and then I'll see what some of you guys are saying, and I think we can wrap it up there. I talked about the first drive, how we went to McDonald early and often. I liked seeing that, but we couldn't convert a 3rd and 8 and had to settle for a field goal. On the second drive, Ben takes a deep shot to Martavis Bryant. On the 3rd and 3, he connects. Martavis is showing up. Made some great plays in this game. Also, remember the 3rd down conversion he got where he kind of broke a few tackles and stretched and got the 1st down. That's the kind of stuff I want to see from Martavis Bryant. So you can, you know, stop being the one-trick pony and start doing some things like that to be special. So give a, you know, hats off to him, kudos to him. But we did good picking up the 3rd down there. And then on the 3rd and 4, we get the ball to Justin Hunter there. And what do I have here? On the 4th drive, guys, Le'Veon Bell dropped the screen pass. It was kind of funky how Ben threw it. Almost led to an interception. I'm glad it didn't. So we got to clean up stuff like that. But we converted, again, a 3rd and 12. That was the Martavis Bryant extension to get the 1st down. Eli Rogers draws a PI. And then also, Rosie Nix is able to run the fullback dive for a touchdown. When's the last time we seen that? So a little variation there with the play calling. And what else did I have here, big guys? A 3rd and 4. Juju kept the drive going. He converted a 3rd and 4. That was the 6th offensive drive of the game. On that same drive, Clowney gets called for the PI. Well, not the PI, but the face mask on Ben Roethlisberger. And then that was the drive where Le'Veon Bell scored the running touchdown. So that was good to see. And then also, here's another one. The 7th drive. And this was when, we were up pretty good at that point. And all I was thinking to myself is, okay, Todd, let's not be conservative here. On that drive, there was a play action to Juju Smith-Schuster on a 2nd and 1. He makes a great comeback catch, adjusted to the ball, caught it on this shoulder, and we convert. That kid is special. And, we ended up, Ben throws a touchdown to Juju on that same drive. And that's what I'm talking about. That's the stuff that the Steelers normally don't do, is they don't stay aggressive. And it's good to see us do things like that, man. I was very encouraged by seeing that. So, that's cool. Now, outside of that, guys, I don't really think there's much for me to talk about defensively outside of Mike Hilton. 3 sacks on the day. Again, I said this earlier in the year, man. Who would have known that this would be the guy from Ole Miss that would make the difference and not Sinquez Golson? Isn't that crazy? And both of these guys played in the same school. Hilton, if I'm not mistaken, was undrafted. We spent a 2nd-round draft pick on I just said his name. Oh, Sinquez Golson, right? He doesn't pan out. He's injury prone. Then we ended up bringing his teammate in, and this guy is playing out of his mind. I mean, I think we're really, really using this guy appropriately. Remember all of those corner blitzes and things like that we used to run last year, and guys would miss. Whether it was William Gay or Sean Davis a lot would miss. Mike Hilton seems to be right there. He either makes the play, or he's disruptive, or he gets picked up. But I haven't really seen any times where I thought he whiffed or he just didn't make the play. Special guy, man. And Steelers did a good job with that one. Let me see. Was there anything else I wanted to say here? I know both Cam Hayward and Tuitt had strip sacks in the game. Bud Dupree gets a sack. Well, he provided the pressure. I'm sorry. Sean Spence cleaned it up with a sack. And the Steelers get 7 sacks on the day. Let's talk about this real quick, guys. Then I'll go to you guys' comments. This is the last thing I'll say. What about Vince Williams getting called for taunting? Remember when I can't remember who it was. It might have been DeAndre Hopkins or one of them guys. I think it was that time when he scored and laid out, and then Vince Williams laid down with him. I don't remember if it was on the scoring play, but it was a play where the Texans player fell out. It might have been after Artie's pick, and I'm going to talk about that. And I can't remember, but it was a time when the Texans player was laying on the field like he was disgusted, and then Vince Williams lays down with him, and he got called for taunting. That was funny. That was hilarious. But, again, real quick, Artie Burns did pretty good in the game. I mean, again, I can't really judge him based on the quarterbacks we faced, but that was one heck of an interception that he made on the goal line. It could have been a better throw, but you still have to credit Artie for bringing it in with one hand, securing the catch, and he got down. So you got to give him his credit for that. So, all right, guys, my computer is losing power very, very fast. I have 24% now. So let me get to some of you guys' comments, and we'll be up out of here. I'm just going to pick a few, guys. So give me a chance. Roll through them. No, I don't think we'll start Josh Dobbs. And unless Tomlin decides to sit guys. So it's really going to come down to what he decides to do. But I have a feeling he's just going to end up, treating it like a regular week and play to win the game. Shout outs to Tyrese Man HD. He says it's his first time watching this live. I want to give you a salute and a shout out. I appreciate you coming by, man. Really do appreciate that. He said, Darius Carter says James Harrison was just being emotional. Yeah, man, it is what it is. Listen, I'm not the type of person that blames a man for doing what he wants to do. I just don't like the move. That's it. Do I hate James Harrison? No. How could you? He's the Steelers leading, the sack leader of all time. James Harrison did a lot for us. I will never forget James Harrison for that interception in the Super Bowl against the Cardinals. But at the end of the day, I just didn't like the move. You know, it's the same way I feel about, again, like Kevin Durant. I don't like the move. But I have nothing against them as a person. You know what I mean? They say Artie will start next week. Yeah. Well, I mean, he is the starting corner. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to agree with Lee Sharp here. Artie Burns is not showing us that he's a #1 corner. He's probably a #2 guy at best. I will definitely agree with that. He's not proving us to be a #1 corner. And it is what it is. I mean, sometimes guys pan out, sometimes they don't. And again, it's not the end of the world for Artie Burns. It's not over for Artie Burns. You know, we'll see, you know, how things progress going forward. Dual Threat Gamer says he believes that Vance McDonald could be the next Gronkowski. Jesse James can't really catch. Him dropping that touchdown pass, unlike Jesse James, McDonald is not a one-trick pony. Franchise tight end. I agree, but the only thing that I won't necessarily agree with is Jesse James, in my opinion, he didn't drop that ball, man. I mean, that game is over, but at the end of the day, again, by the letter of the rule, it says the player maintains possession till the initial contact to the ground. What happened in that case, which doesn't happen as often in these other cases, like your Des Bryant's and some of the other ones that were questionable, Jesse James' knee actually came down with possession of the ball. He had the ball tucked. It's a catch. Right there, the catch is done. So if that's the initial contact, once he reaches, he's now, quote-unquote, a runner or making a football move. Should have been a touchdown. So I'm not going to agree with that criticism of him dropping that catch. Just my opinion. But I do agree with what you're saying about Vance McDonald. All right, let's see what else you guys are saying here, man. I'll take a few more here. Let's see. Hey, I agree. Darius again says when Ben is taking the check down, he's at his best. I have to agree with that. 6-time champions. Your dream may have just become a nightmare. James Harrison has signed with the Patriots. So there's a picture of him and Tom Brady. So there it is. Yeah, Bence Williams. That is funny that he put that in his name. Right. What else are you guys saying? Oh, this is a good one. Taliban Trey. Tackling is still an issue, man. I don't understand it. I don't know. Listen, again, it's hard for me to outright criticize an NFL player because I didn't make it to the NFL. But I just see some bad angles and bad technique when it comes to tackling. You know, I think the NFL and definitely, you know, guys on our own team, everyone is all about, oh, that big hit, and they throw their shoulder in, but they forget to bring the rest of their body. You know what I mean? You just go to shoulder, and your arms don't wrap up anything. I mean, even in the Pop Warner, you were taught, take the legs out. So I think it's a point of seeing what you're going to hit, first of all, and wrapping up. Get a hand on them. Because even if, you know, you don't get him to the ground, if you get a hand on him, you slow him down, and maybe your pursuit comes. But it's definitely been some bad tackling. I think it started showing up again yesterday. I think the tackling has improved a bit over the season. But there's games where it shows that, again, you know, it could be an issue. Look at the Ravens game. But I think it's more so gap integrity as well. You know, as I go back and look at some of those plays, I think it's gap integrity. And, you know, again, people are going to always try to point to the coaches, but some of this stuff we can't put on coaches. You know, when the player is on the field, the player has to make plays. He has to execute. We can't put certain things on coaches. You know, I think more and more you listen to Coach Tomlin and other guys, you know, on the staff, you'll start to understand where they're putting these guys in the right spot. Like there's you know, mention of John Mitchell, which Let me see how many of you guys know who that is. So I'm gonna find out who are the real Steelers fans. It's some talk about John Mitchell in that game getting on guys, for not being in the right gap. It was a report that came out from the sideline that he was like ballistic. And, I like when you hear stuff like that because, again, I think the misconception by the casual fan is that, oh, the team is not ready to play. Oh, they didn't coach them right. I just don't believe that, man. I think coaches put their players in the right spot. Now, we all know bad coaches when we see them. And I'm going to tell you right now, a 12-3 team is not a badly coached team. I'm sorry. I just can't agree with that. But let's see. What else are you guys saying? What do you think we should look for in the draft this year based on what you've seen so far? That's a good one, man. And I'm planning to have some fun with this terrible towel, man. I'm going to try to keep this going even after the season. I know I usually take a break, but I don't want to. I want to see if I can keep this going each and every Tuesday, rather, throughout, off season and all. So I'm definitely going to get to that. But right now, I would say we definitely need a safety, free safety. We need an inside linebacker by far. We don't know what's going to happen with Ryan Shazier, man. And I think, being responsible, we probably should prepare for the worst. Because we still really don't know where he's at, man, as far as his rehab and stuff like that, or if he wants to play football again. That's a gruesome injury to a young man, with a young child, with a fiance, 25, you just never know where his head's at. Maybe he only plays one way, and maybe if he plays again, he's always thinking about that injury. You know what I'm saying? So we got to go inside linebacker. I feel like we got to go safety. Don't be surprised if another corner is snatched up. And also wide receiver. We'll see what happens. Let's not forget, Martavis Bryant was expressing his unhappiness early on. So you never know. The Steelers might do a trade situation there. We don't know what necessarily may happen with Eli Rogers. I think we keep Eli Rogers. But the one guy that we know for sure is probably not going to be there is like your Darius Haywood-Bay. I think this is the end for him. I don't know what's going to happen with Justin Hunter, so I wouldn't be surprised if we get another receiver. But I think inside linebacker, free safety, possibly tight end. If McDonald can stay healthy, we're okay. But I think we go tight end as well in the draft just to get some depth. But we'll see, man, as we get closer and closer. I'm not answering any Madden questions in this particular video, guys. Come on, respect what I'm doing here. So, all right, man. I think this is going to be it. I'm going to wrap up here. My computer, again, is steadily losing power without the power cord. Silly me. One thing I did want to mention, guys, Eli Rogers proved himself to be a little better in the punt return game in this game. It was good to see that. There was a stat that I heard on the Terrible podcast, man. Those guys were saying that the longest punt return before this past Monday, I'm sorry, they said it was like 16 yards or something. I mean, in years. And that was by Antonio Brown. And kick return, I want to say they said the longest kick return we had was Martavis Bryant, which was 38 yards or so. And then Juju had one, I think, for 27 yards. But since before this year, we haven't gotten anywhere close to that. So that's still a concern, man, in our special teams. Kick return, primarily. I think punt return, I think we could be okay there. I think Eli Rogers did a good job. He attacked the ball. He fielded balls when he needed to. I didn't really necessarily disagree with any of his decisions. So I think that's a good start. I think his confidence is back in that area. So we'll see what happens from there. But, yeah, that's going to do it, guys. Let me see if you guys have one last thing here. And then we'll dip. I will end it with this. This is a good question here. Do I think this is Ben's last year? Interesting. I don't know, man. Earlier in the season, y'all recall me saying that if Ben Roethlisberger continues to play the way he had been playing, whether we won or not, I think you do a self-assessment And I said I think it would be Ben's last year, whether we win the Super Bowl or not. Now, he's playing very well. He knows he has a Ferrari at his disposal. He might want to stick around. But let me hit y'all with this real quick. My boy Tony is on point. Nobody else answered the question. John Mitchell is the D-line coach. Come on, I need y'all to get y'all Steelers knowledge up. But I'm going to hit y'all with this, and I told Tony this as well. This would be a fantastic storybook ending. I don't know if any of you guys have thought about this. If we win the Super Bowl, I could see Ben Roethlisberger retiring because, picture this, rookie season. He comes in, he wins, 14 games, 15 games, one of those two. All right, gets to the AFC Championship against the New England Patriots, throws an interception, we lose the game. The very next year, he comes right back. He promised Jerome Bettis, I'm going to win it for you. We win the Super Bowl. What's happened in the last year or so? Last year, we got to the AFC Championship against the New England Patriots, lost the game. Imagine if this year we go to the Super Bowl and win it. Ben Roethlisberger would be able to say that he started his career the same way that he's going to end his career. And vice versa. He could say, I ended it the same way I started it. Playing the Patriots in the first year and losing the AFC Championship and coming right back and winning the Super Bowl the next year. That would be one heck of a phenomenal story. 30 for 30 one day or whatever. That would be phenomenal. But I don't know if that's going to happen, but I'm just saying. I could see Roethlisberger walking away, but at the same time, he's playing great now. He's being protected. I can see him sticking around and finishing out his contract. So that remains to be seen, but we could be having a different conversation come the offseason. All right, so that's going to do it, guys. I'm going to get up out of here, man. I appreciate you guys for coming by. Don't forget, once this video is archived, go back in and make sure you comment so I can see some of your comments there, because once I'm done with the stream, I won't be able to see them all and reply to them. But again, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel, cut your notifications on so you're fully aware of the next video. And I promise, man, it'll never hurt you guys to hit that like button. All right, so that's going to do it for now. But until next time, guys, I will be coming right back to you this week with the keys to victory against the Browns. Maybe we'll know a little more by Friday, and we'll be talking, something different in terms of who's playing. But, hey, you got to go out there and give it a shot, man, because we still have a little small chance to claim the #1 seed. So there you have it. So that's going to do it, guys. I appreciate y'all coming through. Catch y'all later in the week. Y'all be good. Here we go, Steelers. Peace.